would cause nutritional defects. We're sort of trying to get away from it in the children. We're trying to avoid radical surgery. I won't dwell too much on this. I think that none of the tyrosine kinase inhibitors have been very effective over the long run so far, and we're looking with great excitement to some of the work that Ron and his colleagues are doing here. This just shows the keloid formation that occurs in the Carney-Stratakis syndrome, and this just shows the, I think Christina went through this much better than I could in terms of the mutations that were seen in the succinate dehydrogenase gene. BRAF mutations are also seen and may have some correlation with small intestinal GIST versus gastric GIST, and we're beginning to look into that a little bit more. And really, I think there's nothing I can say about that that hasn't been said much better by my colleagues. So the NIH Pediatric GIST and Wild-Type GIST Clinic is open to anybody that has a pediatric or a wild-type GIST. We encourage patients to come, and every time my colleagues call me from around the country with these cases, I say, and why don't you have them come down to the clinic? They stay locally for their therapy for the most part, but it's very helpful, I think, to the patients and their parents to come down, and for all the things that I've enumerated before. Thank you.
Well, first of all, I just want to tell you that in the 10 years we've been doing this is the first year that we didn't raise more than we did the year before. This year it's been a lot more difficult because of the economy, and also basically my wife wasn't well, well, she hasn't been well in 10 years, but she wasn't herself, and so we fell a little bit behind, unfortunately. So this year, I give you my word, we're going to go back. We hit $1 million last year. We only hit $730,000 this year. Next year, we're going to hit the million again, and we're going to need your help. What I mean by your help is, rather than everybody just, write out a check, get your neighbors, friends, relatives, 10s, 20s, they will it up. And that's the only way we're going to do it. Other than that, we've developed and made a lot of very, very close friends here at Sloan Kettering, in Pittsburgh, in Philadelphia, Boston, and in Portland. And my job is to give out. By the way, I hope you all noticed before, when my wife introduced all the members of the board of directors of the GIST Cancer, she happened to leave out her husband, who's the treasurer. Okay, so anyway, unfortunately, it's not as much as we'd like to have here, but it will help. It will help. The first one is a check for Christina's lab for $135,000. The second one is for Ron for $65,000. And hopefully...
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
You want to come, please? My lab.
Oh, the lab people?
The lab.
You got a wide-angle lens?
We could take a picture afterwards if you want.
Come on, yeah, come on.
Yeah, we could take a picture afterwards.
Actually,
with the lab and
these
everything.
These are the. By the way, okay, I'm a layman. Okay, we've been doing this for 10 years. I want to see a little bit more progress out of you people. So I'm serious, because I want to see the cure and everything else. Also, while you were doing your speeches, I guess you're the one to ask, Christina or Ron. When somebody takes Glivec for 10 years, okay, Tanya's been taking it for over 10 years, what stage or what condition are the tumors in after 10 years of taking Glivec? Are they still alive? Are they dead? Wait, Tanya, I'm not asking you. I'm asking the doctor.
I hope they're dead by now.
They could be dead, though.
Could be dead.
Now, how
But
could
we are not going to
how do you
try that.
how do you find out if they're dead or alive? I mean, do you take a biopsy, or can you do something like that?
I wouldn't mess with 10 years of success.
That's right, exactly.
Okay.
Leave her alone.
But I mean,
No, I
you
was
know,
just curious to know, after being belted or barraged by Glivec for 10 years, what condition they would be in. That
But-
was my question.
But to add just a little bit, because we are here because of the fact that everybody's trying to find a cure and all that, but that's another thing that I wanted just to add on to it, is that we have another researcher, Annette Dusing in Pittsburgh, that actually works at the apoptosis of the cells. In other words, when they are dormant, basically, right? I'm saying it correct? What it would take to actually try to kill them while they're sleeping, like they are dormant in that stage. But the idea of it is, like I said before, that's why we're so grateful that we have such a great group of researchers and doctors, as Ron has repeated and Christina has repeated, that they all work together, they all kind of work in different projects. And I think what Ron is doing with the immunization of all that, which is actually a wonderful thing, you know, sometimes when you step over something that intrigues you and you start to question and then you focus and you follow through and everything else, I think that was in a way brilliant to just continue it, because that helps us. So I think that we need to support in that respect your research in the lab. As a matter of fact, I just would like to add one other thing, that I hope that the MSK and the facility itself, there's some different labs that actually their funding for rare form of cancer is quite large. And I would hope that some of that funding actually gets to be dispersed a little bit to, just because we happen to be a rare form of cancer, like Christina's lab. And actually, I am talking about a lab, which I think all of you know, which is, if I found out that myself, nobody else did. I think Gary Schwartz, if I'm not mistaken, his lab actually is up to $8.9 million. And he is in control of actually dispersing this funding to rare form of cancer. So if we could get him to actually look into the lab for Christina, or for Ron that is looking into this particular kind of research, that would be very well appreciated by everyone here. But we need to follow through that too.
I have to make one more statement too. Because of Ron DiMatteo, we had to change the date of the walk this year.
Not only Ron DiMatteo.
It's okay.
See, you get
I
blamed.
give him a little. I give him a little.
I'm the only one who recognizes that it's not a good day.
Exactly.
Right.
Thank you.
No,
Thank
we
you.
scheduled the walk for October 23rd, and Ron contacted us and told us that there's a symposium in Athens, Greece, I believe it is, and so
Right,
on.
on the
And all the
23rd.
GIST doctors will be there. Could we please change the date? So we have changed the date, and the walk will be October 9th this year. And basically that's it. So next year we're going to check with Ron 6 months,
Beforehand,
6
that's
months
right.
beforehand before we schedule anything. And honestly, you couldn't ask for better people than these people. And they've, not only are they great doctors, they become great friends. And that's all I have to say.
And they've been also very, very, very generous with their time, and very generous on a general note with many things that you're not going to hear normally on support groups and things like that. This is, behind the scenes, that a lot of these researchers and doctors have been very, very helpful with patients, not only from within cross country, but as well in other countries. I mean, how many times you get, for me, Ron, please help me. There's a patient in Mongolia.
Okay.
But I mean, all these researchers have actually made the effort to reach out and help people that have not been able to get help.
I'm going to start charging by the email, actually, at this point.
Hey, let's see who's going to judge who. But anyway, that is such a
Anyway, we
grateful thing.
thank you
so
all.
we thank you very much.
We thank you all for coming, and I give you my promise that we're going to try and double that, okay, next year.
Yes, so if anybody
Maybe
has any
triple it.
questions, now's the time to ask questions.
Yeah, if you have
from-
any questions to ask of the doctors,
Yes.
ask them now, because, any questions.